Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for coming, especially our virtual colleagues online. Thank you so much for attending today. My name is Kruthaup Calleros. We're going to be talking about using the Empowering Your Day, and we're going to talk about some Microsoft 365 tools and how you can empower it that way. For our virtual friends, please feel free if you want to come off. Turn on your camera, just give a quick hello, just a little wave to everybody. We're gonna be doing some interactive stuff as well, just asking for reactions, but just know that we keep you as equal as everybody in the room. So please feel free to come off of mute. If you have any questions, I do wanna remind anybody, feel free to jump in with questions. We do just wanna get a microphone to you so we can hear you. Also, if you do the questions during the presentation, we are recording this, so your face or your voice will actually be picked up on that recording. So if you want to wait until the end, we can do that as well. Our lovely Elena DeAngelis is going to be monitoring the chat. So if anybody has their laptops open, want to put a question in the chat, Elena is the Microsoft guru. I just pretend to look cool up here. So we will go ahead and get started. And I'm using two different screens here, so I'm assuming that I'm going to figure out a way to get this to actually, we need to activate that. There we go. Okay. So topics for today, we're going to talk about how to work efficiently in Teams and Outlook. They're both collaboration tools, right? So when do we want to use each one? So we'll be going through a little bit of that. Next, we're going to empower our schedule with Bookings with Me. This is a simplified version of Microsoft Bookings, but we're going to talk about how you can empower your own day. So we'll talk about how you can set some of those appointments up. Accessing and sharing in OneDrive. That's your personal OneDrive files cloud storage. Then we're going to talk about how file management works within Microsoft Teams. After that, we're going to switch over to SharePoint. And of course, you want to be empowered if you know that you're safely sharing your files. We're talking about file sharing best practices, and then we'll have the questions at the end. Like I said, feel free to type in if I'm say anything that may not be completely clear. Okay, so working efficiently in Teams and Outlook. As I said, they're both collaboration tools. So we want to make sure that we are utilizing it the best way that we can. We don't want to be collaborating in one, filling up an inbox when it could be something that's utilized in Teams. But that can be confusing too, right? When you see both of them, we've worked in email for so many years that when we look at Microsoft Teams, how are we really engaging with other team members in it? We see a lot of like odd things come in, like a praise app or thumbs up, and it's like, well, does a thumbs up mean you read it, or does a thumbs up mean you agree with it, right? So just trying to get that idea of how we navigate within both Microsoft Teams. Oh, there is that crazy orange now. We don't know what's happening with this. It is, I did this on a Mac, so some of the compatibility issues are rearing their ugly heads. Okay, so this is just a little bit of a quick overview. Conversation mode, when we're looking at Teams, we're looking at more focused teamwork as opposed to with Outlook, it's more targeted and direct. When we're looking at the nature of collaboration, these are things that you're working on regularly with people. Maybe you're utilizing things like Microsoft Planner, Microsoft Tasks. Maybe it's a loop that you're working on. But with Outlook, you're going to be using specific people or groups. Maybe it's sensitive data, professional messages. Those are the types of things that you want to have in a nice polished email. And then the group size. You're going to have a tendency to have more of a private group, small to medium team size with Microsoft Teams, where we know the distribution groups, Emma, those sorts of things. That's going to be a larger audience. I'm going to put that in a bad spot. I'm gonna get past that. Okay, so selecting the best tool. Here's some things to consider. When you're determining which tool to use, you want to think about the type of collaboration. So, do you need people to comment on what you're collaborating on? Do you require input from several team members for this? Could different discussions branch out from the starter topic? Okay, we're gonna do a little interactive, gonna get you guys like thinking. So you're not just looking at slides all day, okay? So I'm gonna give you some scenarios. Virtual colleagues, you are also part of this. So I'm gonna give you scenarios. We're gonna decide whether we're using Microsoft Teams or we're gonna use Microsoft Outlook. Best way to do this is those in the room. We're gonna do a big heart symbol. Heart means teams. We're gonna practice real quick. Yay! Do you know how long I was muted?
The group has done hearts and thumbs up, but online probably it's not.
Okay, did you guys hear me about the hearts and the thumbs up? Hearts are gonna be Microsoft Teams. This is what you feel the best answer is. Microsoft Outlook is gonna be the thumbs up. So if everyone online could give me a quick heart, let's see if you all are able to get that reaction going. All right, Eric, Gabe, Kayla, Michael. Okay, great. Let's do the thumbs up now if you think it's an Outlook. Outlook, let's do thumbs up. All right, I think we're ready to go. Let's get some scenarios going. Oh, I moved the mouse. Maybe that's how I muted it. There we go. Okay, first scenario, I just want a quick back and forth conversation with a few people. We're gonna do a heart for teams. We got a lot of teams in the room. We got a lot of teams going online. Answer is teams. A quick back and forth email could quickly escalate to clogging up an inbox. So Microsoft Teams is the best way to collaborate. Great job. Oh, boy. Okay, I want to publicly congratulate a team member on an award or a personal accomplishment. We got a mix here. We've got a mix. Okay, this one is actually Microsoft Teams. How many times have you seen, let's congratulate everyone on 10 years? A lot of people like to reply all, congrats, 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 congrats. And it just filled up your inbox. If you utilize Teams, then you can put the post in, people can put GIFs in, they can just thumbs up, which you assume that they're happy they're still there. You can do little like dancing GIFs, you know, anything like that. But it can all be in one place. That person can feel the love in one compacted little area. So Microsoft Teams is a great way to do that. Okay, I've been co-authoring a document with my team members in Teams, but now I need to get feedback from a partner or a leader who isn't part of my team. I mean, Teams or Outlook? Those at home? That is correct. You want to use Outlook for that because you can still share your file safely with them, and you don't have to add them to the Microsoft team and then take them off once they've looked at that document. So you can add that person to that cloud document and communicate through Outlook. People who aren't in my team need this information. Got a lot of Outlooks in the room. How are we doing online? Correct. If you're not in the team, it's not going to be beneficial to have them into Microsoft Teams if you don't want them part of that. So if you're getting information to somebody, Outlook is going to be your way to communicate that. So we're talking a lot about Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Outlook. Now I'm going to transition over to Outlook and you being able to empower your schedule. Okay, so why would you use bookings with me? So we have easy appointment management. Bookings provides a simple interface to both the customer and the user to schedule appointments. It streamlines the process and it reduces the need for back and forth communication that you would be utilizing in Microsoft Outlook. Calendar integration. Once you've set up your My Bookings page, which I'll be showing you a demo of how to do this, it automatically goes into your Outlook. So you don't have to worry about a find time, schedule assistant. It's automatically there for you with who it is and what the topic is. I use this a lot, scheduling interviews. I would show you this as a demo, but we only have 45 minutes. It's a little bit more involved, but I will absolutely do a demo for you all and post it because I've walked a lot of managers through this. This is a wonderful tool to have a panel of interviews, panel of people on your interview, and have somebody, even external, giving them a link, having them sign up for their interview slot, and it all goes right into Outlook, and it's seamless that way. So I use this one a great deal. What we're going to cover today is social meetings. So I'll show you a little demo. We're hybrid right now, but you know, we're all seeing each other. Oh, when's the last time we were IRL, right? But there's no reason that we can't have those social gatherings virtually. What about a coffee break? What about a lunch break? Those can be scheduled. You can leave your schedule open and say, this particular day of the week for 20, 30 minutes, I'm open to anybody who wants to toss a meeting on my calendar, and they can just sign up for it. Instead of saying, hey, would it be all right? You're assuming that you'll talk to anybody, right? You don't want to block anyone. But if you want to be open to actually connecting with other people, this is going to be a great way. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. So what I've done here is a screen share. So I'm going to talk over it. So I'm going to assume that I remember where I was clicking. So it might be a little bit awkward, but we're going to give it our best shot here. So this is my bookings page. I think Elena was going to let everybody know in the chat how to get to that. Oh my gosh, where's the mouse? And go. So this is the bookings page. This is the part where you can like add staff and it can be, you know, pretty complex. This is my personal bookings page, but we're going to go to my bookings. As I mentioned, this is more of a simplified version. So I want to set up social time, just myself and whoever wants to sign up for it. So now I'm on my own booking page. I'm going to go ahead and do public because I don't want just anybody in the world to sign up time with me. This is really just for me to kind of get in touch with my colleagues. So I'm going to choose private. Once I get to this, I'm going to choose a meeting type because that's what everyone's going to see when they go to my bookings page. So for here, I'm going to choose lunch meeting. Now the category is pulling from Outlook. So you can see these are all the categories that I use here. But I want to create a new one because I don't have anything called lunch meeting. So I'm creating this category, which has now been added to my Outlook calendar. And I'm going to choose orange so I can see that color on my calendar. And showing it here for you. Come on, Kim. Okay, now we're gonna move to the description. I'm gonna let people know because they're gonna see that when they log into the My Bookings page. Hey, let's meet for lunch and catch up. And emoticon, because that's my toxic trait, is ending everything with smiley faces. So I got a virtual lunch. I want this to be a Teams meeting. I decided I want it to be 30 minutes. I decided I want it to be private. I don't want to use regular meeting hours because that means any time that I'm free on Outlook. Remember that calendar integration, it's looking for my free time. So I'm going to choose customized time. I'm going to choose Mondays, and I'm just going to use the good old fashioned 12 to 1 time frame, but it's 30 minutes. So I'm going to list this from 12 to 12:30. Just check my time, guys. But I don't want to do Tuesdays. I've got a prior commitment. I do on Thursdays, Friday. Come on, I don't want meetings on Fridays. So I'm going to do Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 1 p.m. Remember, 30-minute increments. It means I could do 4 of them once I find 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So I want to look at, I decided I just want to do this for the fall semester. I don't want to have this all the time. So I'm choosing it from today. And then I'm going to go to like mid-December. I don't want to get into like break week and that sort of a thing. So I'll choose December 8th because maybe my schedule is going to change. Ongoing meetings will change, that sort of a thing. Now I'm in the advanced options. Buffer time, I don't need to worry about that. I'm fine jumping right into that virtual meeting. 30-minute intervals. Minimum lead time, I'd like to know about a day in advance if we're going to be hanging out virtually. So I'm going to change it from 1 hour to 1 day. I'm not worried about the maximum lead time. I'm not worried about the email reminder and the follow-up because it's on my calendar and I look at my calendar every day. I see what it looks like here and then I save. And now you can see the lunch meeting is on this calendar right here. So what I want to do now is I want to add that to my signature line in Outlook. So it's going to be a minute because I paused it. And I'm pulling up Outlook on another one. Oh, I'm actually going to share. Now I'm going to grab that link so I can put it into Outlook. All right. Picked a bad spot for that. So I've grabbed that. Now I've kind of paused my thing, pulling up my Outlook right now. I'm going to slide that guy over. And you can see here my signature line. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. I'm just going to add a line. Let's meet for lunch. I did not do a smiley face. I'm going to copy that, hyperlink it. And now I'm going to check it just to make sure that it looks good. I'm going to see how it looks on the other end. I'm going to slide that guy over. And there you go. So now people know to sign up. You can see for October, the green circles are the available dates. They could go to the next month, November, December, and choose those dates. I'm allowing a 12 and a 12:30. So now I have some social time to be freed up. So it's a really nice feature. It takes away that, hey, it's been a while, you know, we saw each other day-to-days. Let's meet for lunch. When are you free? Well, Melinda and I just did this outside. Well, October's not good for me. How about November, maybe the second week? This is what we're doing, right? Because we don't have this set up. But if you have your bookings with me, hey, go to my email, you'll see the link, go ahead and put something on my calendar, right? So this allows that. I think Elena's got a much cooler one. Hers is a bit more dynamic, so she's going to add hers to the chat. She has different intervals, consultations, that sort of a thing. So it doesn't have to be a social thing. It could be just a consultation or anything like that. But the point being that it allows you to empower your schedule, where they say inbox is just a to-do list other people gave you. So let's take some power back, right? And decide when you want to do that. Oh, I just want to show you a bigger view. Okay, now we're going to start getting into file management. OneDrive versus SharePoint. If you don't know the difference, do not feel bad because I do a lot of trainings on campus and many people don't know. They went from a network storage department drive to Microsoft Cloud, and it's for them really the same thing. I can give an example. There was one department, I would never say who it is. There was one department that treated OneDrive, thinking it was like their network storage drive. So they designated one person, and that person was given email attachments of all of the documents they wanted on their OneDrive, and it went under his name. Their entire OneDrive was under one person's name. all the department documents. It's just that we're trying to let you know what this is. It's education, right? So you should have seen the relief on this person's face when they found out SharePoint was a thing. He was like, that was a lot of pressure. So let's get the pressure off of anyone else who may be doing the same thing. Fun, we get to. Okay, here's a quick breakdown. OneDrive. OneDrive is your personal cloud storage. I always say to think of this as your desktop. One of you just may win the lottery tomorrow. And if you do, and you leave Georgia Tech, 30 days, Elena? 30 days, it's gone. And this can get confusing because you're collaborating in Microsoft Teams with your colleagues. Oh yes, I wanted you to see what my document looked like. You shared it with them, but you own it because you did it in Microsoft Teams chat. You didn't put it into a channel. So be mindful, anything you have in OneDrive, when you go, it goes, okay? SharePoint is organizational ownership. When you go, it stays. It's a big difference here. So it's an organizational file. So you can create anything you want. You get it into a channel, private channel if it's a small group of people, but make sure that it's in SharePoint. You can move your OneDrive to SharePoint, but it's an organizational ownership. Both of them you can access from anywhere. Yes. If you have a group chat, it's a OneDrive file. Yes, yes. So we're talking about the difference. How do you access your OneDrive files? So let's get to the online. We're not going to be covering the desktop. We're just going to be covering the online access to it. Okay. There are, I'm sure, 15 different ways to get to your OneDrive. This is my shameless plug of office365.tech.edu. I know it's just a little bit of text right now, but we have big plans and I'm super excited. And Elena and I are gonna make sure that we're gonna get a lot of information to all of you about new things that are up and coming in Microsoft, things that are changing. We're gonna start really utilizing this as our landing page. Other places as well, meet the customer where they are. However, just know that this is gonna start changing and it's not gonna just be static text. So I like to recommend office365.tech.edu. What you're gonna do is you're gonna use this handy dandy waffle icon or hamburger, or whatever people like to call that. And then when you see all of your apps, you can see the highlighted OneDrive. So you're gonna click on that. Now this is your homepage. This is your OneDrive homepage. You're gonna be seeing things like recent files. I hope I successfully blurred out all the things from here, but this is my recent things, right? So we're gonna look at the menu bar. We're gonna look at different ways that we can search. Sorry, people at home, my cardigan keeps moving. So we are going to be looking a little bit closer at what we're seeing on the OneDrive page. Let's get this a little bigger. So on the left-hand side, we're on the home page. The file button below that is My Files. So when you're looking at the home page, you're seeing things that have been shared with you, things that you've created. For me, I'm typically going right to the My Files because it's something I created I'm going to continue working on, like day-to-days, presentation. The next one's going to be contacts. Those are things that, those are people who have shared files with you. You can, of course, star/favorite things, and then, of course, your recycle bin. But with the recent, you can see that I can say, I don't know, I started this PowerPoint from my boss, Elena, and I can't even remember what I called it. It was something, she asked for it last week. I'll apologize and get it to her next week. But anyway, I know it's a PowerPoint. So I can click on PowerPoint and then I can look at all of my files and like, yes, that's right. I was going to give her a proposal for having 1 million employees in our department. I'm sure it'll get approved. Okay, so I've now clicked on my files. This seems pretty safe. These are all the training presentations I've created so far, so I'm not reinventing the wheel. There's common topics. This is just some of the stuff that I have that, like I said, that I've created. So lots of good things that I can show all of you guys. Not today, unfortunately. We got 15 minutes. But as you can see here, I'm seeing when it was modified, my file size and activity. That's going to show if I shared it with anyone the last time I updated it. So this is typically where I'm going is OneDrive, my files, and then I'm looking at my folders. And this is one where I put all of my PowerPoint presentations in. Oh, you know what? The reason why that was there is that is actually a video. Did not see that. Okay, so this is going to be talking about how I'm sharing these files. Again, another screen share, but I'm going to attempt to talk over and see if I can match it up. Okay, so I've created day-to-days. I needed to share it with someone. There's a few different ways that we can do this. So I'm looking at my files, my training presentations, and now I've got a couple of options of how I can share this OneDrive file now that I'm in here. So I'm going to slowly scroll down. I'm showing the 3 dots. But I can see the 3 dots and I can see the share icon. So it's a mystery. Which one do I choose? I think I choose the arrow. Yes, I did. So now we see this top pop-up box. I can immediately share this, right? And put a message. I can copy the link. I can send the email. I can say, hey, can you take a look at this? But I want to go to settings because as you can see, we have in our Georgia Tech tenant, share with people if they have a direct link. But I want to go ahead and be a little bit more cautious. So I'm going to choose who I want to see this, not just somebody who has a specific link to it. Now, do I want them to edit the file or do I want them to just view it? So I'm going to say view. Now this gives me the option if I want to block the download. Maybe I just want them to view it, but I don't want them to actually download the file because maybe it's private. So I'm going to say yes. I want to block the download. I just want them to take a quick look at this. Now I can add the name. Who will I add? Maybe Atlanta DeAngelis. And then here's where I can leave a message. Here's a file if you want to check it out. Haha, you can't download. I didn't say that part. No emoticon, but I did thanks, but only do 1 exclamation because it sounds like you're shouting. So I can copy the link or I can send the file. Do you ever do that? Like you like, nope, 2 exclamations, take 1 out, make that a period or a comma? Just me. Send the ink, so then you can send the link in the email. But you can see here, people you specify with this link cannot download, right? So I prevented that. Okay, so the other way is, we're coming back here, I'm going to choose, but this time I'm going to allow the edit. Because I allow the edit, the block download has been grayed out because if I'm allowing them to edit, I mean, I'm pretty much allowing them to do anything, right? I trust that. So I'm going to click apply. And again, I don't know, the coolest boss. Oh, Lena, I just meant like coolest boss. And then I can copy link or send. And it's people I specified could edit. So this prevents somebody with having the link editing the file. Now let's say that I don't want to bog down Lena's OneDrive with all the things that I've sent her. I'm done with the project. I've already submitted it. She doesn't need to have access to it anymore. It's really just archived. So I'm going to come back into here and I'm going to manage the access. Manage the access. There we go. Come on, Kim. Okay, so we're going to pretend that this is Elena's name right here. This is just the default that we have here. All I have to do is highlight her name and stop sharing. Simple as that. Then that person doesn't have access. Remember, if they downloaded it, they do. If you want them just to view it, they've looked at it, you can revoke the access after that. And I believe that should conclude that video. It depends. So if you, I think if I'm correct, if you copy link, they get a notification that something's been shared with you. Otherwise, if you do the send, they'll get the full email. I don't believe so. No. Yes. I don't know of the question was, could you specify this link has been shared for 72 hours? I do not believe that that's an option. I think it's manual. You need to go back in and revoke that sharing. Good question. Okay, I got another really quick interactive one here for you. For those at home too, if you want to just use a raise hand feature, I know that you're not going to ask a question. I just want to see a raise of hands. Who is an Android user? Anybody? We got 1, 2, 3. Okay. We didn't get any boos from the iPhone people, but I saw a little bit of that. Yeah, little murmur over there in the corner. So I'm sure you can appreciate, I am as well. I'm sure we can all appreciate, oh, this restaurant looks good. Let me download the PDF of the menu. Where is it? Where did the PDF go that you downloaded, right? It kind of just disappears into the abyss. And, then your friends, your iPhone friends laugh at you. You're like, well, on an iPhone, it's right here. But we sort of lose the files we download off of a browser. That's another session that I may not be able to really help with, but I can at least show you where your files went in Microsoft Teams. Thanks everyone for participating in that. Get to just highlight all of my stuff. Okay. So I wanted to zoom in on this, and I do apologize. It may be a little bit difficult to visualize. I am in a chat right now. I just wanted to pull out that post, right? So we're talking about group chat, one-to-one chat. This is what it's going to look like in your post, right? So you have the attached file. I just need to hold this. So you have the attached file, and then you see the options that you have, right? You've got your cloud files. Oh, that's not good. That is interesting. Okay, we're going to move on with that. So that was OneDrive. Anyway, we're going to talk about SharePoint now. How are you sharing files in Microsoft Teams, which is SharePoint? A reminder, SharePoint is the backbone of Teams. SharePoint manages your permissions and it manages your files. So just keep that in mind. SharePoint is a backbone for Teams. So now we're going to upload. Once we show these nifty things here. So when I'm uploading a file, this looks a little different, right? Now I'm in a channel. So I've got all these extra plugins here, and that kind of gives you an idea. So now I'm going to go to the attach button, and I'm going to share a file. Now I have more options, right? I can share it from OneDrive. I can share it from another Teams channel, or I can share it from Teams. I can share it from a Microsoft Teams and a channel, OneDrive, or maybe you have it temporarily on your desktop or somewhere on your computer that you want to get that up to. So what I have done is I'm showing you a post. So I created a post. I started a new post. I just saying hello to you guys. And it's my super cool presentation you guys are watching right now, right? So you can see the post is right here. But is that the only place that you're seeing it? No, it's going to be stored in another area of your channel. For these in the back, those people in the back, in case you couldn't see it. So if you are looking at your Microsoft Teams channel, you're defaulted to posts. If you go to files right next to it, that you'll see that first one right there, the same exact one that I had posted. So you'll see anything you post in the files channel. That is where it goes. So now we've talked about where SharePoint is in Microsoft Teams, but how are we managing that from SharePoint itself? Again, shameless plug, Office 365. Now you're on SharePoint already, but just wanted to show in case you were somewhere else like Microsoft Forms or something like that, that you would see the SharePoint in one of your apps, right? We're going to go to documents because we're focused on the files right now. So you can click on the documents. But I want to go to My Sites so I can access that. So you see that globe and then you see the My Sites. Next to that are all of the Microsoft, well, not all, but the ones you can see, are the Microsoft Teams that I'm a member of. So I'm going to go to, shameless plug, to Microsoft 365 training. That is something you can all join. We have lots of materials, training materials. It's public team, so you don't have to ask for permission. Just join it. Now, I'm going to point this out a couple of times. You see here that I am clearly in SharePoint, but I'm highlighting, it's got the little Teams icon. Remember, they work together. So even though I'm in SharePoint, it is showing that this is a Microsoft team. Again, we're going to be burrowing down to our documents. So you've got the documents that I'm going to click on, but you also have your site library on the right side. I actually want to get to my documents that are in a channel. Now I'm looking at, I've clicked on documents. I can see my site library, but what I want to focus on is that little thing right above it. Right there in channels. So I'm going to click on that. These are all the channels that I have currently set up in the Microsoft 365 training channel team. Sorry, the team. These are all the channels right here. That's what I want to get to. Something was posted, something went into the files tab. This is where I'm going to access it here. This is something that I get from a lot of people, and I think it's valid, and I wanted to make mention to it. And if you can see, it's a little bit small. I may be able to zoom in on that one. How many members? Nope, not going to show you. 851. So the concern that people have is, but if everybody in the team is part of a private channel, how can I be assured that if I'm sharing something in a private channel, that not everybody, 851 people, are going to see that? So I just wanted to draw attention and show you, just to kind of prove that they're not going to see it. So I've got my private channel here. This is planning channel. This is just Elena, myself, anybody else who's done presentations. When I created the channel, so I had the team, and then I decided I want to have something for just administrators that has our presentations, Microsoft assets, or whatever that may be. We have metrics in there. So when I created the channel under that team, I made it private in those settings in the beginning. The question was, did I make the channel private after the fact, but I made that channel private when I created it. So as you can see here, even though there's 851 people in the team, there's only 4 people in the private channel. So I just wanted to kind of, give a little bit of a breath of relief on that this is in fact allowing those permissions. So you're only going to see those few people. So again, Teams and SharePoint work together. To really bring this home and to show you, you can see on the left-hand side, this is from SharePoint. On the right-hand side, I grabbed the Files tab from Microsoft Teams. They're identical. So you can see that they are always going to be the same because you've got the backbone here managing all of this. So it pushes and syncs it over there. So everything will always be the same between those two. Let's see. Oh, sharing. Okay. So the reason why I have this up here, I didn't see that at first. You can see the options that we have, pretty similar to OneDrive. I didn't want to do another demo of how to share in SharePoint because you can go back to that and it's going to manage the access the same. Do we have a question? That's correct. Yes. So if you want someone to be able to have access to make changes to that, you need to make them an owner of that team. I mean, this is a lot, right? OneDrive, SharePoint, manage access, revoke access, copy links, send email. I mean, is it really that bad, right? Could I just attach a file? Well, no, because mistakes happen. I had to get my Midwest in there, so excuse me, So here's some reasons. And it has happened. I'm sure a lot of you have been here long enough to have seen some AJC articles. It's happened. This is why we're doing this slide. It can easily be sent to the wrong person. You think that you're attaching it, but you didn't have that cup of coffee after lunch, and you may have sent something with sensitive data as an attachment. And then someone can forward that. Maybe 50 people can forward that accidental document. It could contain items that could be downloaded. So you're not empowered because you're losing the ability, right? You've given a static copy of something. You're not sharing the file. You've just attached a static copy. There's nothing that you can do about it at that point. We don't have the ability to revoke our own, to pull back our own emails. This is so 2000, right? I mean, did we not always, the last bullet point for those at home, did we not all fight with that? Someone sends a Word document, we have 6 people all attaching their version, and you just want to go batty because one person replied all instead of forward, so you can't even see their attachment. Which one is the original? We're all overwriting each other. But if you share it, you have the version history, you can see who's made what changes, and it can be done in real time. All right, I'm going to try to rush through this because I know we're over time. Things. Okay, so some of the benefits: file retention, access control, collaboration. Just so you guys know, we do have copies of these presentations that will go out to you, of you only. You can download, but you can't make changes. Okay, where can you share your files? Here's our approved locations, right? So we've got OneDrive, Microsoft or Georgia Tech tenants, OneDrive, which is your personal storage. You've got your SharePoint Teams, which is the department group storage. Of course, we haven't talked about it too much because we're focusing on Microsoft today, but we've got Dropbox, and there's still department network drives, which are completely secure as well. We do not approve Google Suite. I'm very sorry to a lot of faculty members, but we do not approve Google Suite because we do not have an institute agreement with them. Personal Dropbox can be a little tricky sometimes because some people set up a personal Dropbox with their GA Tech account thinking, oh, well, then I'm in Georgia Tech. No, you have a personal Dropbox, so you just need to reach out to the collaboration team. We can get those merged. Microsoft has really been pushing the personal accounts, right? So keep in mind that if you're in a personal Microsoft account or a Georgia Tech account, because we're not going to approve anything that we don't have that license to. We got to the end. I just went a few minutes over. So we are ready for the questions. What questions do we have? Do we have a microphone for anybody, or we may not have questions? Elena, do we have any questions you weren't able to address? Okay.
Like OneDrive files in the folder that syncs with my laptop. Does SharePoint have a similar option?
So the answer is yes, yes, and yes. In OneDrive, there is actually, if you select items, there's now a button at the top that literally says move, and it will kind of walk you through where you want to move. It'll say my stuff, meaning your OneDrive, and then it'll have all of the teams or SharePoints that you have access to. So it will actually move all of that content for you. And you can sync SharePoint and OneDrive down to your local files. So it looks literally like any other drive. I will find those links and post them.
Thank you, Elena DeAngelis. Yes, in the back.
Hello.
So the question is, if you have a SharePoint site and you've shared with external to Georgia Tech, are they able to access that, view that, and see that?
Yes. So you have the option to add external people. I do not believe that they can be owners of your SharePoint site, but you can add them as a member to your SharePoint site, or you can share specific files or folders depending on what level of detail they need, just as you would somebody else. So what will happen is when you get that share screen that Kim showed, you just put in their email address, they'll get an email that they need to accept, and then they should have access. If you do run into any problems, go ahead and put in a request to us and we can look at it. Sometimes people are in with the wrong alias, kind of like a lot of us have multiple email addresses. We can help you get that figured out. Now, I will say, if you have a team, because just to add a little confusion, if you have a team and you add a SharePoint behind that, it does not always allow external, depending how you have the team set up. So if you do have any questions or run into any issues, let us know. I'll throw our email if you need to send us a ticket. Always include your local IT support. They are fantastic. We're not trying to bypass them. They help us a ton, but also you can reach out to us and we can help too.
And, you know, I've helped a lot of people too when Elena's speaking to that team versus the SharePoint site when you're sharing a document. I've helped a few departments on campus who had conferences like this, and I helped them set it up so that they could bring in externals, whether that was vendors, people from other institutions. There's a really nice visual way you can do that. You can always reach out to us. Happy to walk you through that and set that up for you. Usually it works with channel meetings. You invite them as a guest to that team, and then they have access to, do they still have access to not have access to chat? Or did you? They will have access to chat in the meetings during your conference as a guest. So they'll look as like guest or external. But it's a great way to use Microsoft Teams if you want to have it interactive, you can have channels. I did one for One IT Symposium and I had I think Lawrence will remember this if he's still on, pictures of your pets, and just gave a way to engage, from people that are virtual. So a lot of different fun things you can do with that. Yes. The question is, do you have to create a Microsoft team in order to have a SharePoint site? And the answer is no. You can create a SharePoint site separately to be able to share those files. But if you create a Microsoft team, SharePoint's going to show up and knock on the door and say, hey, I got your files for you. Yes, ma'am. Yes. The question is, does the desktop OneDrive sync with your online OneDrive files? And the answer is yes. Any other questions? Well, thank you everyone for coming. This was great. I've been asked to put the QR code up for feedback. You can talk about my dancing ability if you want. We've got a link down here as well. And also I will throw out, if you ever have any ideas for something that you find your department's having trouble with, that you think would be a training opportunity, we are trying to work on getting some videos about that. We don't always have the time because it's just me right now. But I like to create videos or presentations and trying to help you out and at least get that asynchronously to you. But there's a lot of corners of those campus that people are doing things like putting all the files under one person's name. I'd love to be able to educate people. We provide the services to you as OIT. We want to provide that learning as well. So I want to thank everyone virtually who came in. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your participation. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day-to-days.